Hey, it's me, CJ. Congratulations. We are under contract. So, what that means is we had an offer on the property and we were able to successfully negotiate that to a contract with a meeting of the minds and where everybody is satisfied with how we're going to move forward. So, yay, congratulations. What I wanted to do now is just talk to you a little bit about what is coming next and what to expect. So, one of the things that is happening is there will be an appraisal, and I'm going to actually do a different video on the appraisal. Right now, I just want to focus on the home inspection and just sort of prepare you for what's ahead and what to expect, along with how we'll handle ourselves in this process. So, the first thing to remember is that the home inspector works for the buyer. The buyer has hired the home inspector to go through the house with a fine-tooth comb and find every single thing that they can find wrong with the property. And this is really just to give the buyer an education about the home that they're about to own, to include little things such as maintenance and advice on what to look for and what to monitor and what to pay attention to as they take over ownership of the property and move forward after the sale. All the way to big things like radon or mold or plumbing leaks or those types of things. So that's their job, and because they have some liability, they're also, you should know, going to just include everything but the kitchen sink. There will be comments about cracks in the driveway or other things that are completely obvious that the buyer totally saw before they wrote their offer, but the home inspector has to CYA, and so they're going to list all those things. So when we get the home inspection report, and we will get it along with a list, that report might contain 100 things that's wrong with your house. And what's important to remember as we go into the resolution period, which is the time that follows our receipt of the buyer request, the important thing for us to remember is to take a deep breath and just recognize that this is just another opportunity for increased dialogue with the buyer about how we're going to move forward to a successful closing. So we will not get our feelings hurt when we see what the home inspector says, and we will not get mad. We will simply recognize that the home inspector is doing their job and we're going to do ours. So another important thing to note is that the buyer's agent should be helping the buyer sift through the things in the report to identify what's actually a problem with the house, like radon or mold or something like that, and then compare it to little maintenance things or ticky-tack things that they saw before they wrote their offer. So we're going to assume that the agent on the other side is going to do a great job sifting through all of that, and we are going to receive a reasonable request from the buyer. That is the goal at this point. So once we receive that request from the buyer, we will have what's called a resolution period, and that defaults to 10 days. So that's probably what we have is 10 days. And during that 10 days, we are going to, again, remember, even if that report is really long or has a whole bunch of stuff on it, even if you don't agree with it, don't take it personally. The home inspector is not saying you have ugly children. They're just simply doing their job and listing everything that's wrong. So assuming the inspector did their job and assuming that the buyer's agent did his or her job to sift through the crazy long report, then what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate what do we want to do next. And so we might obtain some bids or estimates so we can determine how much the repair is going to cost. We might get a second opinion. If the home inspector says that the roof is bad, for example, we will probably call in a roofer to give us a second opinion on that. And what we will do is we will come up with a response to the buyer after they submit their request. And our response could be yes to everything. It could be no to everything. It could be somewhere in between. It might be we will lower the price and we won't do any repairs. Whatever it is, we have lots of options as to how we will respond to the buyer. And then what we will do is we will wait for the buyer's response to our response. If our response is anything other than yes to everything, then that begins a new negotiation period with the buyer. So hopefully level heads will prevail. Nobody gets their feelings hurt during this process. And we just, again, it's so important. We don't take things personally. We take deep breaths, we don't get offended, and we just recognize that everybody wants the same thing, which is to meet at the closing table, exchange cash for keys, where everybody walks away feeling like a winner and that everything went smoothly, and that's our goal. So that's what's happening next as far as the home inspection goes. And I just want to congratulate you again on going under contract. And if you have any questions about this inspection process or what's coming next, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know what those questions are, because I want to make sure that you have all the information that you need as we move forward, so you continue to feel comfortable and confident about what it is that we're doing. So congrats again, and let me know if you have any questions.